Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 15 is entitled as Purushottama Vidya, Purushottama Yogam. Sloka 11. Yatanto yoginaś cainaṁ paśyanty ātmany avasthitam yatanto akṛtātmāno nainaṁ paśyanty acetasaḥ. After explaining how the living entities think themselves to be the body, uses their senses which they've been carrying for several lifetimes in further accumulating more karmas, will have no means to see the self. But those having the eye of knowledge, which discriminates the self from the body, perceives the self as different all the times. In this current sloka, sloka 11, Krishna elaborates two types of people, one with knowledge, one without knowledge. One with knowledge will see the Atma, whereas one without the knowledge will not see the Atma. Here, the importance of self-realization has been said. How those who has knowledge able to see the self, and why those who doesn't have knowledge unable to see the self. Let's see the meaning of the sloka. ātmany, in the body where the Atma, avasthitam ānam, situated, yatantaha, endeavoring, yoginaha, yogis, paśyanti, see, yatantaha api, although endeavoring, akṛtātmāno, those without self-realization, acetasaḥ. In this context, acetana doesn't mean that which is opposite to chetanas. Chetanas are conscious beings, whereas acetanas are those things which doesn't have consciousness. This is not in that context. What it means here is the living entities are called as acetanas in this context because of devoid of pure mind, which is not fully developed to understand that body and Atma, body and soul, are different, not one and the same. Na paśyanti, do not see. In other words, they do not see this difference between body and Atma. They do see that body to be Atma. Translation: the endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try. In the first part of Bhagavad Gita, that is chapter 1 through 6, we learned the process by which one becomes self-realized and able to attain the vision of self, ātma-sakshatkara. First, one needs to follow the karma yoga and get purified. Then one follows the jnana yoga to attain the vision of the self. This was the sequence given in the second chapter. Then in the third chapter, Krishna said, karmanaiva hi samsiddhim, that is, one can attain the same result of jnana yoga by simply practicing the karma yoga. There is no necessity to go through the sequence from karma yoga to jnana yoga for the self-realization. Simply by practicing karma yoga, one can attain the ātma-sakshatkara, the vision of the self. But what is being discussed now here in this sloka is another step that one needs to take even before getting started with karma yoga. If that step has not been taken, then one is not going to get the benefit of following Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga for that matter. That step is to take shelter unto Krishna. Irrespective of what one's goal may be, one may desire to attain the Atma or one may desire to attain the Paramatma. But in either cases, one needs to obtain the grace of the Lord in the beginning. If not, the effort that's been put will not fructify. For one to see the Atma in its natural position, one needs to have transcendental eyes. For one to get such transcendental eyes, one's heart must be purified. For the heart to be purified, one has to follow the Karma Yoga. For one to follow the Karma Yoga, one must take shelter of Krishna and surrender unto him. This is how one will be able to get the vision of the Atma. Whereas, although one may be practicing the Karma or Jnana Yoga to attain the vision of the self, their heart is still not purified. When the heart is not purified, though they practice Karma Yoga, they will still not be able to see the Atma in its natural position, because they miss that very important initial first step in this whole process, which is failure to take shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Because of that, they will also see, but not the Atma, the body. Therefore, Krishna says here, they are not the seer of the Atma. Na paśyanty, do not see the soul. Since those living entities do not see the Atma, they only see the body, their endeavors are only to fulfill the needs and demands of the body. They do work to satisfy their senses through the sense objects because they have identified themselves to be the body, not different from the self. All their actions that they try to do to satisfy the senses are going to make them accumulate more karmas. Because of karmas, they carry their senses and mind to the next new body, and over there continue to see that body as themselves and continue to accumulate more karma. The lion thinks itself to be lion and different from the deer, whereas the deer thinks that it is deer and different from the hunter, and so forth. The animals thinking themselves to be such and such animal can be given concession, whereas when the human thinks, I am Devata, I am Manushya, I am Brahmana, I am Kshatriya, I am white, I am black, I am Indian, I am American, I am short, I am tall, I am fat, I am thin, then that cannot be given concession because the humans have been given higher intelligence with the discriminating power. Just for this reason, to discriminate body and soul as two different entities. Therefore, even if they do practice various yogas but fail to surrender and take shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, will not able to be successful in that process to attain the vision of the self. This sloka takes us back to verse 4 of this chapter where Krishna said, Tameva chadyam purusham prapatye. Only those who have taken shelter unto Krishna and thereafter engage themselves in the process of karma yoga, etc., can get a vision of the self without earning Krishna's grace by surrendering unto him. Those who strive to see the self through their own efforts alone will never succeed. It's like in math, one might do each and every steps perfectly, but then if they have missed just one number in the starting, then the end result is not right. Similarly, one may try to do everything perfectly, either through karma yoga, jnana yoga, etc., but they missed to receive the grace of Krishna in the start, then everything ends with no value. Srila Prabhupada very nicely gives an example that we may do many things in our life. They are all equal to n number of zeros. At the end of the life, we have accumulated many zeros. But if we had added 1 in front of all these zeros that we have accumulated, then the value of the zeros changes. And that 1 is Krishna. If we don't have Krishna with us, then our education is a 0, good family is a 0, name, fame, prestige are all zeros. Our wealth is a 0. Our health is also 0. At the end of our life, we have accumulated many zeros because we failed to surrender unto Krishna's lotus feet. Prabhupada says in his purport that in present day, there are many so-called yogis, but they are actually blind in the matter of self-realization. But those who are engaged in pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness can understand how things are taking place. To summarize, even though one may be residing in the body, one will be able to see the self because of their pure mind, heart, as they practice the yogas by first taking refuge in Krishna, who is the master of the universe, after surrendering unto him in the very first place. Whereas, even though some may be striving with karma yoga, etc., if they have not surrendered themselves unto Krishna, they will not attain purity of mind. Due to lack of purity, they will not have the ability to see the self, will not perceive the self in its natural state. What's coming up in next 3 slokas is another interesting subject. It was stated earlier that the dense darkness prevents the contact between the sense object and the sense. That is, the eye cannot contact the object in front of it because of the darkness, which prevents that contact. And the light of the sun, moon, or fire facilitates this contact by removing the darkness. What Krishna is going to say in the next sloka is that light of sun, moon, fire, etc. is only due to his grace. Let's wait to hear the details in the next session. Yatanto yoginaś cainaṁ paśyanty ātmany avasthitam yatanto akṛtātmāno nainaṁ paśyanty acetasaḥ. Namaste. Hare Krishna.